Matthew chapter 16, verse 13 through 17. And Jesus said, "Who do people say that the Son of Man is?" And they said, "Some say John the Baptist, others say Elijah, and others say Jeremiah or one of the prophets." He said to them, "But who do you say that I am?" Simon Peter replied, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." And Jesus answered him, "Blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah." Simon means to hear and to listen, and Bar-Jonah means son of Jonah. Jonah in Hebrew means dove, and dove refers to the Holy Spirit. So Simon Bar-Jonah in this context refers to someone who is hearing and listening to the Holy Spirit. Simon Peter knows that Jesus is the Christ because God has revealed this to him through the Holy Spirit, and Jesus is rejoicing over the revelation that Peter has received. Matthew chapter 16, verse 17 through 18, and Jesus continues, "For flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father who is in heaven. And I tell you, you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it." And here comes the interesting part, because we need to look at the original text to understand the meaning here. The word for Peter in Greek is Petros, a masculine word which means a piece of rock, even a small stone or pebble, or a small rock that you find along a pathway. But when Jesus says the word rock, he doesn't say Petros. He says the feminine word Petra, which doesn't refer to a small rock or pebble, but to a massive rock or a cliff. So what does Jesus refer to when he says Petra instead of Petros? Let's have a look at two Bible verses from the Old Testament to understand. Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 4. "He is the rock, his work is perfect, for all his ways are justice, a God of truth and without injustice, righteous and upright is he." The word for rock here is the Hebrew word zur. As we can see, the word rock refers to God, and the closest Greek equivalent for this Hebrew word for rock is Petra, the same word as in Matthew chapter 16, verse 18. Psalm chapter 18, verse 2. "Yahweh is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer." The Hebrew word for rock here is Selah, so it's a different word than in the previous example. Yet the closest Greek equivalent for this word is once again Petra. So the verse doesn't mean that a church should be built on Peter as a person. Peter as a person had many flaws, and the New Testament repeatedly emphasizes Peter's weaknesses. For example, Peter is rebuked as Satan by Jesus. Peter denies Jesus. Peter flees in fear. Peter didn't trust Jesus completely. Jesus says Satan desires to sift Peter. Peter is absent at the crucifixion, while the disciple John is standing at the cross. Peter also had a hard shell and a big ego. He wanted to be the leader. He wanted to be the greatest. Yet Jesus clearly said that John the Baptist is the greatest of all humans because he was truly doing the will of God, and he was doing it in an extremely humble way. So Jesus is not talking about Peter as a person in this verse, but rather about the revelation that God has given Peter, the same revelation that made Peter confess Jesus as the Christ. And on these types of revelations that come from God through the Holy Spirit to all believers, upon the truth of Christ and upon Jesus' teachings, Jesus will build his church. The revelation of God is the massive rock that is beyond Peter. And this is why Jesus is saying that Peter's insight didn't come from Peter himself, but from the Father. The foundation and the source are never from humans. It is always from the divine power that is above. Jesus and the Father in heaven will always be the foundation of the church. And these revelations that come from God through the Holy Spirit will reveal the truth step by step and lead you to the narrow gate that Jesus is talking about.